never know where sports will take you. Here's former Central Columbia High School athlete Chloe Mehring talking about the role athletics played in helping her get ready for a job as a NASA flight director at Mission Control in Houston. But I would imagine teamwork, very important at NASA. You mentioned it a few times already. Can you just talk about that? And possibly, I guess in your position too, you have to be a good leader and building relationships with your peers and also astronauts.
Teamwork is essential. That's another one of our foundations. So the teamwork part's kind of interesting. So you're the leader, you're the decision maker. The other people in the room, they're the subject matter experts. You have to be able to rely on them and gain trust in them to make your decisions. So it's important for everybody to do their role, understand what that is, and be able to effectively communicate what they're thinking to the person who's making the decision. And I'd say that's pretty common even with sports. I mean, the coach needs to know what his ultimate goal is. He needs to be able to communicate that to the teammates. The teammates need to be effectively communicating it to each other. And if there's a problem, they need to communicate it back. So there is kind of a comparison there, a little different, but a bit of a comparison.
Did you do sports in high school or when you were younger?
I did, yeah. I was actually a field hockey goalie and I was a pole vaulter. I actually finished 5th at states my senior year at school for pole vaulting.
At Central Columbia?
Mm-hmm, at Central.
I've noticed athletes tend to be high achievers a lot of times, keeping. Do you feel that athletics can fuel, keeps you focused on studies and is kind of important?
Yeah, I do. You kind of learn how to be ambitious in sports growing up. You learn how to work as a team effectively. You learn how to set a goal for yourself and how to find a way to get to that goal. And that can all be carried over into whatever career you end up in as well. And then kind of the other side of that, I'm a pretty big advocate for staying healthy, whether, eating healthy or working out. And that all kind of tied back from, back in high school days when I was in sports and, you had your workouts these days, you're always moving, and that kind of carries over to my life now. I'm always moving, always trying to stay healthy because I know that's only going to help me focus better for work.
What do you do now? I mean, you do some training. Does NASA have like softball games every now and then? Is there time for this or?
Right now they don't, but yes. We have a pretty cool, it's called the Go Center. I'm actually a fitness instructor there too. I teach a Pilates and this special program called Body Flow, which is like Pilates and yoga. So I do teach that, but I used to do softball and volleyball down here in our intramural sports leagues. So yeah, they do have it, and it can get pretty intense.
I'm sorry we went off on this tangent, but I'm glad we're talking about this because I think sometimes NASA and that might get a bad rap because people think, they're doing math, they're not doing sports, and that's for some reason we have this idea we have to separate. Chloe, I'm taking from you too. I played soccer. I never wanted to be in goal. I was like, forget that. That's too much pressure. This might say a lot about me and why I didn't end up working at NASA. But you seem like you've always welcomed some of the pressure. Maybe being a goalie, taking the flight director responsibilities now. Have you always embraced that a little bit?
Yeah, I have kind of found myself trending towards those leadership roles a bit more. As the goalie, I'm the one back there yelling at everybody, telling them where to go. I'm like, I need you to cover this post. I need you to go over here. So I have kind of always trended towards those types of roles. So yeah, I can see the comparison between the two.
What advice would you give your younger self going through high school, maybe even grade school, now that you're at NASA, you've achieved the goal, but what advice would you give yourself?
I don't think I'd really change anything. I think I would say just, keep marching to your own beat. Things one day may seem not that great, but it's always going to get better. I've always had a pretty positive attitude growing up, and I think I still do. So just keep marching to your own beat, find your own path. You'll figure it out. Solve the problem yourself. Try not to rely on others. Just keep solving the problem yourself.